Welcome to another edition of Digital Dialogue by Maritime Gateway.
Today we have a guest with us, Mr. Arun Maheshwari, Joint Managing Director and CEO of JSW Infrastructure Limited. Arun Maheshwari is a man who has been at many ports of call during his voyage at JSW, sourcing major steel and power, generating raw materials, corporate strategy, international marketing, anchoring each of these areas with his entrepreneurial skills, creative approach, and lateral thinking. Over 2.5 decades of experience in steel industry, he is an ideator, strategizer, thought leader, and a great team builder, widely respected by business associates and a man of all seasons. He walks the talk with Dale Carnegie and holds an MBA. Welcome to the show, Mr. Arun Maheshwari. It's a pleasure to have you with us today.
Thanks, Mr. Ravi, and it's a pleasure for me as well to be on this show. And it's good to learn this particular subject, which I'm not from. I'm as old as 1.5 years in this particular port industry, but then every industry is more or less similar so far as your thoughts are aligned. So I'm very happy to be here on the show.
So let me begin by asking you, now we are into the ninth month of COVID. So how are things now? They look normal on the path to recovery. How is the cargo handling scenario now at JSW?
So if we look at in general, yes, there was turbulent times for I believe 8 to 10 weeks, quite turbulent, and thereafter things started getting normal. But so far as the port industry is concerned, and in particularly JSW is concerned, I don't see any challenges we faced in terms of volumes and growth. We did have some challenges in terms of labors and availability of manpower and all the stuff. But volume-wise, we were pretty okay. We could sail through all the turbulent times without compromising on the volumes. Hardly any compromise, I would say. 5 to 7% kind of volume dip was there in entire 9 months. So all in all, I would say this pandemic was, from the port perspective of JSW, not a challenge. We had certain challenges in our other business verticals, but everything is now normal or above normal. So it is better than pre-COVID levels as of now, as we talk today.
During the pandemic, a lot of corporates and business houses started relooking at their business strategies, going back to their drawing board, because it also gave an opportunity to have an inward thinking and then tweaking a little bit about their strategies. So recently in news, Chettinadu Group acquisition, their bulk terminals acquisition has been making rounds. And can you share a bit about how does this fit into your strategy and what would be the future scenario after these acquisitions?
If we look at it, this particular acquisition, what we had done with Chettinad Group of Terminals, two in Ennore and one in Mangalore, was essentially to fill up those dots because we had hardly any presence in Southeast India and Southwest of India. So these two places wherein we wanted to have some kind of presence. And this particular acquisition was fitting perfectly into that bill. So it has a very wide hinterland, variety of customers. And we thought, by acquiring these assets, we will be able to cater to a wide and variety of customer levels. Having our own consumption in the backyard is an added advantage. So that was not the only rationale to acquire these assets. So I think with these acquisitions, we are having a presence in Paradip, in Ennore, in Mangalore, in Goa, in Jaigarh, in Dharamtar. So it is like quite a chain over there.
What would be the cargo handling capacity after this acquisition?
The total capacity, what we have under control, what we manage, everything is about 150 million tons today, close to 150 million tons. And the total cargo, what we are likely to handle in the next year, or would be close to about 85 million tons. So I would say about 55 to 60% of utilization.
You have a target of reaching about 200 million metric tons per annum. That is the target. So how close you are to the target, and will you be revising your targets because with the speed and growth that you are moving, what would be the future targets?
I think our total capacity, we would like to grow up to 200 million ton in another 2 years time or so, 2 to 3 years time in between that. By 2023, I'm hoping that we should be at 200 million ton of capacity. And that capacity would be largely coming from some kind of brownfield expansions. And some, maybe a lot of acquisitions are available on the table. So we may think of something on those lines.
So this capacity utilization, what is the current capacity utilization? Is there a plan to increase the utilization?
As of now, the capacity utilization is very low because of we had made certain investments, which just came about 6-7 months back, and the utilization will start happening by first quarter next financial year. So this year, our capacity utilization would be close to about 50% or so, or maybe 45%. Next year, with the increased capacities and all those stuffs, we'll still be able to achieve 60% of the utilization, which is a fairly good, benchmark in the industry.
As part of your growth strategy, are you limiting yourself to only bulk cargo handling, or are you looking at other cargos as well?
Not really so. I knew that these questions would be asked many times at several places. Essentially, if you look at it, the port company JSW was essentially to feed the captive usage. So that's why, and captive usage is all about bulk terminal. So that's why all the investments were targeted towards that. But if you see, we changed our strategy some time back, wherein we acquired a container terminal in Mangalore in early part of this calendar year. That was a part of a strategy to diversify into containers. Then very soon we'll be starting an LPG terminal. Our LNG terminal at one of the ports by H Energy will be starting again another 2 to 3 months time. So we will have a basket of, we started handling urea, we started handling sugar, molasses, edible oil. So if you see the basket is, yes, it is still very bulk heavy, but then our future growth would be, largely targeted towards liquid gas containers. And not only ports, we can also explore getting into railway lines, getting into slurry pipelines, alternate mode of transports, which, feeds into the ports and which can help retaining the customers and giving them door-to-door solutions.
So out of the total cargo volumes that are handled by you, how much of it is captive utilization and how much of it is third party? Will there be any shift in the mix?
Certainly, yes. Because if you look at the container terminal, which we, as I mentioned earlier, was largely targeted towards third party. There's absolutely no container in that for captive. Similarly, LPG, LNG, or urea or sugar, everything is third party. This acquisition of the Chettinad group of terminal is again targeted towards third party. Then our coal terminal, which is coming at Paradip of 30 million ton, is again non-captive. So if we see, we were captive heavy. We were close to about 95% on captive earlier. We were close to about 95% on captive earlier. This year, we would be almost 75% captive. Next year, I'm hoping that we will be 65% captive. And as we move forward and as our investments start showing results, our captive percentage will drop in our total cargo handling, which is, again, the captive is also increasing. But with that increased captive, still the share will come down, which is a good sign, I would say that.
So you have been growing on the sea side of infrastructure.
Yeah.
Are there any plans to get into land side infrastructure as well?
As I said, we are exploring all the possibilities getting into the railways. How do we connect to our customer side by feeding them dedicated railway lines or slurry pipelines or some kind of warehousing. So giving them value addition a step further so that, the customers are very satisfied with the one-stop solutions for all their needs and last mile deliveries are happening to them. So that is a second wave of thought what we will have now. What we are already having and we are working on to it now.
JSW is one of the early entrants into coastal shipping. Yeah. Now with coastal shipping handling is on the increase and also Government of India has a lot of thrust on coastal shipping. So what are your plans on coastal shipping? So
coastal shipping, I believe, other than the coal companies, the power plants which have been using coal for taking it from Paradip, Dhamra and Haldia, we are the ones who do about 15 million ton, close to 15 million ton of coastal shipping. And our intention is to take it to 25 million ton within the next 2 years. That is the coastal shipping part. Maybe it will go to 30 million tons if I'm not incorrect. The way the progress is happening for us on the coastal side, because we are investing a huge effort and time and money, everything onto the coastal side. It's the best way of transporting bulk material. It's a very cost efficient. It is very green in terms of moving the material, and it is very. It helps the entire supply chain under control. We are not dependent on many of the other variables when we transport through land route. So we are quite aggressive on the coastal side.
In 2016, you signed an agreement with the Port of Fujairah for management of a mechanized bulk cargo terminal. So how is it going, and any further plans on overseas expansion?
Port of Fujairah operations are doing perfectly well, and we could prove what exactly we meant when we took over this terminal for operations. And the authorities are very, very much satisfied with our performances over there. It took some setback last year because of Qatar issue, Middle East. So, but then now everything is becoming back to normal. The other markets are opening up, and that performance is really good. So we are going to stay there for sure. And on top of it, we have, as a group, we have acquired some mines over there. We have set up a cement plant over there. So I think our presence in Fujairah is a long-term, it's not a short-term investment. And I would say India has a vast and variety of coastline. It offers a huge opportunity. It is quite underutilized. So if I have 100 rupees, I would prefer to invest in India. But then we are not averse to any idea of overseas acquisition or buying or presence if the opportunity is very compelling and very lucrative. And it has to be within the known territory. So that would help us to grow. But I still personally, I feel that India offers a great opportunity even today. Absolutely no problem.
Though it is only a year and a half that you took as CEO of this JSW Infrastructure, a lot is happening. So what is the vision you have for JSW Infrastructure?
First and foremost, my vision was to, demarcate it from a captive company to a full-fledged port company. So which all the efforts are towards that, making it more green. A lot of efficiencies needs to be brought in terms of power, in terms of energy, in terms of sustainability. Safety is on top of my mind. The vision for the company is ideally we would like to be a 300 million ton kind of vision. But that going back to the drawing board after achieving 200 million ton, we will draw whether it will be 300 million ton or 400 million ton. That time will tell. But I'm a firm believer that India offers a great opportunity. And even if we put 300 or 400 million ton as our next target, I think we'll have to go back to the drawing board to rewrite those targets after a couple of years again. So I think we will come back whether it will be 300 or 400 million ton, but then maybe after 6-8 months or 1 year.
Such a positive outlook.
Yes.
Let me ask you, before ending this interview, what are the lessons that you have learned during this COVID-19 pandemic as an individual, as CEO of a group company?
As an individual, I have learned that, we have very much unnecessary possessions, which really doesn't matter to us, even if it is not there. And I believe same happens for the company also. We have too many unnecessary jargons or too many unnecessary attachments to the company, which are not very much required, or the companies can run equally efficiently if those things are not there. And one more thing, physical presence is not as critical as what we thought. The efficiencies, the outputs, everything has been equally good when we were doing from remote. If you see the Chettinad Group of Terminals takeover, everything happened during the pandemic. The entire thing happened in pandemic. Looking at 3 terminals, 2 government ports, getting it done through from the governments, from Delhi, all the concessionaires, our own financing, banking, everything happened over on a virtual platform. So it is the proof of the pudding is in its eating, and we could exhibit, we could demonstrate, we could deliver this particular case. So I think going forward, we would enhance those skills. We would ensure those kind of platforms are available. We will ensure that those kind of infrastructure is available to all our employees, wherein we are able to deliver with the same efficiencies wherever we are. So the place of stay won't matter much in few of the cases, other than operations, which is hardcore on the ground. So more digitalization and more electronics we would get into.
As Winston Churchill once said, you have not wasted the bad times, and this is a fine example that how you put the time to the best utilization for the charting the growth of the company.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for joining us today and sharing a lot of insights into JSW company and its future. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Same here, and it was good talking to you.